She mentioned something here specifically at the very end. This is the epilogue specifically, where Robyn, let's see, Kody and Robyn even severed ties with McKelty, who had once been close to Robyn. This is my only issue with the book. Technically, Dad and Robyn didn't sever ties with me. However, we do fundamentally disagree on a few things, and we have not been in communication, but I feel like it's more of a mutual thing. I don't think it's not a them specifically thing. They're displeased with some of the stuff that I've done and said, and I'm displeased with some of the stuff that they've done and said. So it's more of like a mutual, we're not talking right now.
Hey friends, welcome back to my channel Celeb Counter. We've been talking a lot about the drama surrounding Kody, Robyn, and Christine's book, but now, there's even more tea spilling from McKelty Brown. McKelty is Christine's second oldest daughter, and one of Kody's 6 kids with her. In the past, McKelty was very loyal to Kody, especially because of her bond with Robyn. However, over the years, her relationship with both Kody and Robyn has completely fallen apart. Christine's book mentions how Kody and Robyn have cut ties with McKelty. Just recently, on her Patreon, McKelty talked about the final part of Christine's book, discussing what's been going on with her and Kody. McKelty expressed her feelings that her mom framed the situation as if Kody and Robyn ended their relationship with her, but from McKelty's perspective, it was a mutual decision. She grew increasingly uncomfortable with the things Kody and Robyn were saying, and they didn't like the things McKelty said or did either. Over time, their disagreements built up, both on the show and behind the scenes. McKelty shared that talking to her father became unbearable. Every conversation with him filled her with extreme anxiety and forced her to relive past trauma. She believes that their lack of communication now is mutual, but they haven't spoken in a long time. In fact, McKelty said she hasn't seen or spoken to Kody and Robyn since Garrison's funeral in March 2024. She couldn't attend the memorial in July 2024 in Wyoming, and since then, there has been no contact. While McKelty doesn't go into specifics, it's clear that she is very angry with her father. Some of this may stem from frustration and the family's split, but there's also the deep pain of losing her brother, Garrison, who was close in age to her. After his death, McKelty moved away from Utah to North Carolina, which helped her gain some distance from her family. This physical distance seems to have given her a clearer view of things, allowing her to escape the manipulation and emotional abuse she experienced from Kody. McKelty doesn't believe any of her siblings have read Christine's book. She guesses that none of them have even looked at reviews. Still, McKelty plans to recommend it to any of her siblings who are open to reading it. She believes that reading the book would likely make them join the I Hate Kody Club, something she now fully identifies with, despite previously defending her father and Robyn. Her views have shifted dramatically over time, especially after the death of her brother. In the past, McKelty would defend Kody and Robyn, often making excuses for their actions. But now, after reflecting on things, she's become vocal about the damage Kody's behavior has caused. One of the main issues McKelty speaks out about is how Kody and Robyn use the show to manipulate and exploit the kids. They are forced to relive traumatic moments, and for McKelty, it's created a barrier to healing and moving on. McKelty is adamant that the only way she and her siblings can begin to heal and rebuild their relationship with their father is for the show to end. She describes how after filming, the family would go home to deal with the trauma, only for it to be brought back up when the episodes aired. The lack of closure is a major factor in the ongoing tension. She also touches on how the show caused a divide between Kody and his children, especially regarding the rules imposed by TLC, which they were forced to follow without compensation. Many of the kids resented being forced to take part in a show they felt was damaging to their family. They began to realize the harm the show was doing to them and the family, but Kody and Robyn were the ones benefiting the most from it, financially. At the heart of it, McKelty sees the show as the main issue. She believes that Kody's treatment of his kids, including using their conflicts for content, has caused lasting emotional damage. It's no surprise that many of the kids, including McKelty, have stepped away from the show and distanced themselves from their father. Christine's book reflects this, noting that none of her children want to be involved with the show. While they may appear to help their mom occasionally, they don't want to be associated with their father or have their personal issues turned into content for the show. McKelty and her siblings are recognizing the harmful impact the show had on their family, and McKelty is using her platform to speak up for those who may not be able to express their feelings. McKelty also addressed the conflict with Kody during the COVID-19 pandemic, adding another layer to the issues with her father. Ultimately, it seems clear that McKelty is standing up for her siblings and her own emotional well-being, and while it's been a painful journey, she's finally found her voice. As a child, Truly was treated terribly by her father. She often talks about how Kody would punish her, and how he never bought her a class ring. He didn't treat her like he did the other girls, which made her relationship with him very difficult. As a child, she faced a lot of emotional pain because of his behavior. Over time, she grew closer to Robyn, which gave her more access to Kody, but even that was not a real connection. She soon realized that she was being used by him, and she understands that now. Things got worse when Kody mistreated her sister Isabel. Truly didn't watch the earlier episodes of the show, but when she started watching the later episodes, she learned about how Kody treated Isabel, especially when she had surgery. Truly never knew how hurtful he had been until she read Christine's book, which revealed so much about his behavior. This is why most of the kids don't watch the show. They don't want to hear the negative things Kody says about them. One significant shift in Truly's life was after she and her mother split from Kody. While moving between Utah and Flagstaff, Truly began visiting her dad's house. During her visits, she learned that Kody could only see her 5 times in an entire year. Most of those visits were short and didn't include overnight stays. Even when she was there, she often wanted to see her siblings instead of spending time with Kody and Robyn. When Truly stayed at their house, she never felt welcome. McKelty, Truly's sister, shared that she stayed with Truly one night at Kody and Robyn's house, but it wasn't filmed, and it didn't feel like a real visit. They spent that night together in a cozy way, but Truly didn't stay alone with her father after that. Christine's book discusses how Truly and Kody's relationship struggled after the split. Before, Truly was always with her siblings or her mom, and Kody never spent one-on-one time with her. Christine found that Kody never supervised Truly on his own, and they didn't have that type of father-daughter bond. When Christine moved to Utah and brought Truly with her to visit Kody, she noticed how little time Kody spent with Truly. There were very few occasions when he could even see her, and when he did, it was never long enough to form any real connection. Things got worse when Truly was sent to stay in rooms that were not safe or welcoming. One time, she was put in a room with an outdoor entrance, which posed several safety concerns, including issues with pests, dirt, and a lack of supervision. In case of an emergency like a fire, Truly wouldn't have been able to get to her father because the house was locked at night. Christine was upset with this arrangement because it wasn't safe for her daughter. The next time, Truly was placed in a room that was supposed to be Solomon's, but it wasn't furnished properly. There were no blinds on the windows, which meant Truly couldn't sleep because of the bright sunlight. The room felt empty, with just a bed frame and no decor to make it feel like a real bedroom. In one of the episodes, when Truly visited for her birthday, there wasn't enough food for everyone to have a piece of chicken. Truly was clearly not a priority for her father. She was just there for the purpose of filming, not to be treated like a daughter. During her visit, she told Christine that Kody would ignore her, spending most of his time with his other children, Ari and Solomon. He didn't seem to care to interact with her at all, further showing how little he valued his daughter. In the end, Truly's relationship with Kody was a reflection of the neglect and emotional pain she faced as a child, and it's clear that her relationship with him has been deeply affected by his behavior over the years. Truly eventually stopped visiting her father in Flagstaff, and I believe this is part of the reason why Christine took legal action in Utah. She sought custody and made sure the paternity and other details were properly arranged. I think one of the reasons the records were sealed was because there were accusations against Kody for neglect. Truly likely expressed that she didn't feel safe in her dad's home, and when you put all of this together, it paints a picture of Kody not being the father he should be. He wasn't properly supervising, caring for, or showing concern for Truly. McKelty mentions that, since everything happened, Truly hasn't spent any time alone with her father. In fact, she hasn't stayed the night at his house at all. So, it seems like Kody didn't win, and his attempt to gain custody of Truly through a lawsuit seems more like an act of revenge. I suspect that there might have been some evidence showing that Kody wasn't giving Truly what she needed, and that she was uncomfortable being with him. The court would have taken her feelings into consideration, and it seems like the case was likely settled because it wasn't going to go in Kody's favor. Now, the records are sealed, which is unusual in Utah. It's very rare for custody and divorce cases to be completely sealed, but this one is, and you can no longer access any of the details. That decision was most likely made on purpose. What do you think about this situation? McKelty seems to be very vocal about how her father neglected Truly. She's made it clear that she doesn't want to speak to Kody or Robyn, and she doesn't feel safe having conversations with them. She's definitely in the "I hate Kody" camp, and many of the family members seem to share that sentiment. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments.